Check 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hello, hi, welcome to you know what it is. Today we're playing this still. In any moment now it'll appear on screen, and we can all cringe together at here we go. Yeah, we're still playing this, huh? We're still playing Spyro Enter the Dragonfly. I have not quit this yet, against all better judgment, and now here we are in Racist Land, Part 2. We already had Amalgamated Asian Land, was the first level of this game, was the first wide area. And what's the name of this one again? Alright, so Dragonfly Dojo is the first. Oh, love navigating menus with the analog stick because the D-pad doesn't work. There was Luau Island, and we're at the Monkey Monastery. We didn't have time to explore this area too thoroughly last stream. We had enough time to talk to this dude, and that was about it. So let's...
Those unbalanced riptocs have invaded our sacred monastery. Of course, we practice divine compassion, so we really can't get involved in anything violent.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those levels. What was this, 2002? You know, back before we knew that racism was bad, as I like to joke. Back before we knew that cultural stereotyping... Oh, cool. You know, that's great. That's a good start. Just get a little too close to the edge and fall off. That'll set a tone. That'll be our omen for the rest of this. Well, we can take in the sights and sounds of Monkey Monastery now. Get a glimpse of some of the enemies we'll be dealing with. Oh, it's going to be a level with a lot of ice skating, huh? Alright. Is it too late to quit? What am I doing even collecting gems? We've established at this point that they're useless, that... we're not spending them on money bags. He shows up once in this game, apparently, and that's it. So these gems are just here for the sake of it, for the sake of collecting, for the pure fun of the sports. Gotta remember, there's our bubble breath. Catching these things is like already tough enough as it is. Having to do this on ice is a... You can't do your what's it called, the where you move really fast, your dash. You can't do that on the ice. You just have to let momentum carry us. Oh, here's my chance. He's off the ice. Come on. Just barely.
Hey, it's Foamy.
Hey, it's Foamy the Squirrel, everybody. Now we can where's Big Titty Goth GF, and we can get a 2000s era flash animation. Totally appropriate for the time too. I mean, it's a 2002 game. I was thinking about doing a Foamy impression, but then I realized I'd have to like say slurs, so otherwise it wouldn't be a very accurate impression. Can we open this door? No, I see. Door's just for show. Video Game King coming to the realization now, oh god, this is supposed to be a Tibetan monastery, isn't it? That's the only way I can reconcile an ice environment, fake Indian accent, monkey monks, and Chinese architecture. Yep. I wonder, is this not a headbutt? Is there a breath that can open this, or will we actually have to find a key at some point? Leaning towards having to find a key. So, you know, we have something to come back to. We have some reason to backtrack in this level. I gotta remember the button for... Flutter, there we go. Foxhack saying that just the other day they were recommended a Foamy video from 10 years ago on YouTube. Who used to make those? Was that Ill Will Press? This was around the time that I was making Flash animations in games back in a bygone era. So, Blast from the Past. Ill Will Press, that's the name. Did I already say that? Video Game King speculating that the seashell on the chest indicates it was probably meant to be used in a different level, possibly the beach level. If I had to guess. Because they just thought, well, we have a chest model, why make another one? Why make a fresh one for this level? By the way, I'm toying with the volume right now. Let me know if the game is too loud compared to me, or...
Spyro, I know you've heard that Yeti are scary monsters, but we are peaceful, which is why we live here in this once peaceful realm. The true monsters are the Riptocs, and they've taken my kind and imprisoned them in the ice. Can you save the 5 Yeti with your flame breath?
Well, I'll give it a shot. Not so urban Yeti.
Ouch.
Tibetan Yeti. What we really need in this level is like ham-fisted political commentary about the plight of the Tibetan monks. I feel like that would really, really benefit this level. I feel like that would be like a really nuanced subject that I trust the game developers to touch with, you know, that degree of nuance that you want out of them. I'm getting word that Bartholomew returns from Spyro 3 on the PlayStation 1, so we do have recurring characters in this. Again, I wouldn't know. I'm not a Spyro superfan by any stretch. God, do I even like the first game? That's hard to say. It's a question no one asked. I'm just asking it to myself right now. Probably not really. I mean, it's a 3D platformer. Those don't do anything for me, as I'm sure I've said a few times. Oh, okay. Other direction. I'm sure someone will tear down this wall for us in short order. Alright, you're the one I can't breathe fire on. I gotta come dangerously close to falling off the edge myself if I want to take care of you. So they're mixing things up a little bit, making things a little bit more challenging. God, I hear that oi 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 just in the distance, and every time I do, my spine like shivers.
Dragon. I believe the turret behind you could be a very useful weapon for you to use on your quest. We use it for our annual Snowball War. Oh, it's quite an event. Although we are a non-violent people...
I was gonna ask why would they have a cannon here, but
perhaps you
hey, they
might
justify
want to glide
it.
over there and try it out.
Barely justification for it, but justification for it well enough. Could have just as easily said that the Riptocs brought it, but, you know, this adds flavor. That was weird. It looked like it was like something was about to knock me off the edge of the map there as I was gliding over here. The gliding, as we've discovered, can be a little bit, how you say, spotty, dicey. You're just as liable to get caught in the air or to slide off a platform as you are to land on it the way you intend to. Did we not have a soft lock at some point on account of it? Oh no, it wasn't a soft lock. It was in the Luau Islands. It was...
Wow, I like the cold.
At first we glid across a platform that we were supposed to have landed on. We did a belly slide across it that has never been done or seen on any other platform in the game. And then we had the moment where we were struggling to get one of the Dragonflies, even though it was a totally stationary one, where the bubble breath just wasn't working until we jumped up in the air, and then we got stuck in the air and we couldn't move for a solid 30, 40 seconds. And we were just stuck, like, floating in the air, flapping our wings. We have had 3 soft locks so far, though. Then a couple of crashes, which, you know, those are emulator, and so I don't know how much you can blame those on the game. But, yeah, we have absolutely had cases of this game breaking down in some spectacular ways, and I'm hoping that we're able to replicate that today. Hoping that we'll lose, like, maybe, like, 20, 30 minutes of progress. Hell, lose the whole episode, why don't we? We'll be an hour in, and then shit will just fall apart, and then, y'all will, like, leave the stream, and it'll be perfect, and that's really what we're all hoping for here, is just any excuse for me to throw a temper tantrum at this game at this point. Because because it'll bring some kind of excitement to the stream. I will not actually throw a temper tantrum at this game. I do not throw temper tantrums about games. Makes for boring viewing, but hey, y'all stuck around this long, so clearly you have nothing better to do with your time. Says me, the person streaming Spyro Enter the Dragonfly for the GameCube. So I'm in the same boat, y'all. I guess we all are. It's quarantine, right? That's our excuse. As we torture ourselves. As we waste away our precious hours watching this purple dragon slide across ice as I struggle to control. Introspective stream today, I'm just realizing. I'm in a great mood, as you can tell. I'm not actually like in a bad mood per se, it's just faced with the prospect of playing this game. You know, it's hard to muster up much excitement for it. I feel like we've already seen every trick it has. I guess the ice is new. I mean, it's standard platformer fare, but... Oh, great, yeah, I'm a mile away, but let's start talking right now. In the middle of a fight.
Spyro! These flying Riptocs are a menace! Oh, I think they are guarding the Yetis trapped within the ice here. Can you use the turrets to help free them?
Yep, I'll get right on that. Wasn't there a third one? Nah, we're good. Video Game King says, social distance yourself from this game, laugh track activates. I was gonna do a laugh track. I was gonna imitate a laugh track. I was gonna try to imitate an audience applauding and laughing and cheering and jeering, but then I realized I am but one person. Kimberdian, back when I used to stream, I had at least 3 streams of introspection over Doom 3. That's a good game to have. That's a good game to have an epiphany too, if there ever was one. And how do I even exist saying too much eating and drinking to excess in quarantine? We need some quarantine aestheticism. And that is this game. Hey, well enough. Y'all justify it however you need to. Really, I'm the one who needs to justify it to myself. Okay, so the game, I think, really does expect us to try and knock these birds over, but these projectiles have to travel. Are they gonna... Oh, there we are. I think they're too low for us to do anything about. Can we just breathe fire on them? Can we do that? The game said to use the cannon, but that's clearly... Nope, nope. Okay, I love it when I fall off the side and I can't start a glide. If you start falling, you can't recover. You can't just, like, transition that into a glide. So that's a big hang-up. That's a big fuck-up. Oh, I see. Initially, I was gonna try to, like, flame breath him as I was, like, falling, but... Video Game King asks, can you angle your shots in an arc, or is there a minimum range you have to shoot? No, they fire in a straight line. They did not bother to program any sort of trajectory. I know I'm supposed to lead the shot, but the cannon actually moves pretty slow, as it turns out. So getting ahead of what I'm trying to shoot was a little more difficult of a task of an ask than it may have appeared to be. We can't make that from here, can we? Not even gonna try. We'll just make our way back over there, then fall off the platform and...
Hey, man! Nice shot, Spyro! Those flying Riptocs won't be bothering us again.
It's a nice stream sponsored by Vanilla Coke Zero. My soda of choice, besides Doritos. which my local grocery store has not been stocking up on. They have perhaps not been receiving shipments in light of whatever, which is a shame. Oh! I think I had the right idea. It looked like I was, like, adjacent to the door. But the second I touched the wall, my glide turned into a dive.
It's a good thing you came along when you did, Dragon.
Camberdian says, I love vanilla Coke, the full-fat version, though. Yes, same here. That would be my preference, but I have a roommate who is addicted to soda. Hope they don't mind me saying that, but, so I need to get, like, 0 sugar, 0 caffeine stuff. Otherwise, it's all gone by the next day. So, that's maybe a slight exaggeration, but, yeah, so I've learned to get accustomed to the taste of 0 sugar, 0 whatever. And it's good for you, right? It's basically like a health drink. At that point, it's basically just like, you know, drinking kombucha. Empty calorie means that there's no calories, right? It means 0 calories. And when they say 0 calories on the can, that means that it's like, basically just like, might as well have a V8. I wonder if I'm going to have to light that rocket. Let's get instructed first.
Hello, Spyro. I made this rocket for a fireworks display, but I can't seem to light it. Please tell me, can you use your flame breath to light the fuse?
Nah, sorry, dude. No can do. Better be a dragonfly in this. I sure did something. Yeah, because I'd love to torture myself with racist accents.
Wow, that was more than I expected, but, thanks.
This guy's fine. This particular monkey, they did not, like, lay it on super thick. I mean, whatever. Still the general theming here. Monk monastery. I don't know. I guess that's punny enough. It is the accents that really put it over the top, and the yay in the background every, like, every minute or so. Those are the egregious parts, right? You're allowed to make a joke about how monk share. You can't spell monkey without monk, right? I think that's like borderline, but I don't know. You could also just not like make a level based around. Oh my! It's like you walk like so close to the edge, and you like a millisecond late. Like 1 frame late with pressing that button, and it's just a total lack of recovery. It's the fact that you can't glide and try to salvage it. It's the fact that I can't, like, try to orient myself towards the nearest platform that gets me. I mean, luckily we have, like, what, like 15 lives? Oh! We had the glitch again where I did the dash. Make it go fast. And we weren't having the animation for it. Every time you load into a level or load a checkpoint, there's certain animations that don't immediately, like, aren't immediately in the register. I think this will be another one up too, so make up for whatever one we lost.
Those tricky rip talks caught me off guard, Spyro. Many thanks for your help.
Seeing these Yetis just reminds me I'm supposed to be writing that Urban Yeti article, and I haven't even thought about that article in a few days now. I just have not been in a writing mood in particular. But, you know, all things in due time. Still waiting on some interview questions to get answered. I do have hot scoops on Urban Yeti and Dual Environment and all that. I can talk about something way more interesting than this game for a minute. But I still would like to have that interview component. Get some clarification on some things that
Cheerio, Spyro.
Currently lack that clarification. Is this the beginning of the level? Is that our full circle? Oh, it sure is. Oh, but the door wasn't open before. Okay. Alright. So it's like a loop and a half, it looks like. Now that's just bullshit. You can't I can't cross that chasm. If I go over there, is he going to try to go across the chasm again, or is he going to try to move past? Yeah, that's not going to work, game.
Hey, it's Damsel.
Hey, we got ourselves a damsel in distress. Well, not particular distress. I think they seemed fine. Didn't seem particularly stressed out. None of the dragonflies, aside from like the handful that were in captivity, most of them are just hanging out inside the pockets of friendly player characters. The other half are just wandering around, seeming generally nonplussed by whatever spell was cast on them that made all of them sort of get scattered across the land, but...
Hey, it's Shadow.
At least this one made it easy for us. At least that one was a stationary. I like the stationary ones, even if they're not like foolproof in terms of how easy it is to acquire them, even if sometimes the bubble, even at like point-blank range, where you see the bubbles colliding with the dragonfly, you still don't capture it. But you know. Vidigum King. Have Spyro levels always had a cohesive sense of place, i.e. levels that felt like actually existing places characters could live in? That's because the Dragonfly levels completely lack a sense of place.
Ouch.
Yeah, from a little bit I know, from what I've been told, and from what I remember, I'm going to say no on that one. Okay, now this, I believe, this is a portal back to the beginning, right? To the overworld, the hub. So we don't want to go in there. Could be completely wrong about that, but I don't think I am. I think we have some backtracking to do, unfortunately. I think there's some things left undone. A couple dragonflies, and I do want to free the Yetis. Still no idea as far as like the key there. Maybe the Yetis will give it to us. Who knows? Do you have anything to say?
Spyro, I know you've heard that Yeti are scary monsters.
Nope, nothing yet. Still gotta get that last one. I think I know where they are, too. I think I remember this level. Remember this level, as if we haven't been playing it exclusively for the past 20 minutes or so. I remember but the precious seconds, precious minutes ago. Fleeting as they may be. I think I know 2 spots we need to go. We're intended to go in. There's a checkpoint here. I want it. Because there should be, what, like a platform with, Yeah, that one over there. The one I'm not going to be able to get back to from here. Alright, so I need to jump from there to there. Would that mean it's underneath this? I lose my sense of place whenever I go high up in the air, but yeah, that's the path that the fireworks opened up. That gate is going to have some sort of minigame we haven't done yet. So let's do that. Let's take care of this first. Because I realized I forgot it earlier. I bypassed it earlier. That was the shortest loading time in the game thus far. I guess these cutscenes don't actually have much to load.
did. Where are they? Where are my dragonflies? Excuse me, oh short one. Sir, short one. Something went wrong with your scepter. I think the dragonflies were scattered all over. Scattered!
I'm glad that we're getting this cutscene more than halfway through the game.
Something must have gone wrong with my scepter. The dragonflies must be scattered all over.
This is the first time we're seeing this antagonist 4 hours into the game.
Without their dragonflies, the dragons are helpless.
Let alone any confirmation that his plan didn't go according to plan.
I'll send my Riptox out to collect them all and put that purple dragon out to pasture.
Yeah, this seems like a beginning of the game cutscene that got transplanted to midway through the game. That's incredible. Like, we're just getting his plan. We're just now hearing his plan. Haven't even thought about this fucking dude since the first episode, since the first 5 minutes of the first episode of this game. But, you know, cohesive narrative. Made this game count out exactly how they wanted it to. Wait, I'm sorry. What are we doing here? You know, I could have sworn, call me crazy, I could have sworn that that door was going to take us to a minigame. That they wouldn't put the gate to the hub world just in the fucking middle of the stage. That usually the design thread, the consistent fucking design has been that you do the full loop, you complete the circle, you fill the circle in for the level, and then they put a gate like right by the entrance that takes you back to the hub world. And if there's any other gates in the middle of the level, those take you to, I don't know, one of the fucking minigames, one of the garbage minigames they put in this game. But no, that's okay. Yeah, just change the rules up. Who cares? I mean, consistency is for suckers. This is... I did not mean to press that button. Ooh. Yeah, take us there. B button to work. Got it. Yeah, let's load back in. Alright. And we confirmed. I think someone in the chat said, sparkles take you back, spirals take you to minigames. I didn't see the sparkles on that gate. I saw it on the one gate. When I said that gate looks like the gate that takes us back to the hub world. Then that gate, the other gate we saw, that was a spiral. Right? Right? Yeah? So, you know, that's just cool. I think it's really cool how the game just throws off your expectations like this. Really keeps you on your toes. It's really like dynamic level design. They just changed it on the fly. And now that door... Oh, okay, good. It opens up. I was worried for a second. So yeah, I guess this is the minigame. And to be clear, Video Game King, I'm not blaming you for that. It made sense to me. It checked out to me when you said it. It's just that this game has a completely inconsistent visual language and design language to where you just can't predict or call what gates are going to take you where, because they didn't put the text, the floating text in front of them. And I'm sure I've said this like a million times by now, but fuck, that stuff was helpful. Where the gates let you know where you're going to go when you go into them. Where there's a description, like a catchy little title for every gate.
Welcome to our ancient slide, Spyro. Get to the bottom before time runs out. Sliding between flags will give you more time. If you can make it to the bottom in time, I'll have a special prize for you.
Gee, I wonder if it'll be a dragonfly.
Ride the slide.
Alright, no gliding in this. Missed that one by an inch. Oh, that one, like, the game auto-steered me on that one. Whatever. I'm hoping that we don't need to actually get every checkpoint. That's only recommended, suggested. Alright, well, fuck me, I guess. There's no gliding, but you gotta time those jumps still. You still got some,
The key to run. Would you?
I just noticed there was ice in them. There were like ice obstacles there. Whatever those are worth. Yeah, I'm never gonna get those checkpoints. I'm never gonna get that flag. Oh, I didn't jump in time for that one, but luckily the game still gave me a break on that. Yeah, fuck that. I'm not getting those. I'm not even risking those. Oh, come on! Yes, yes, I know. It's sage advice you have. Definitely not a salt in the wound sort of comments. Speaking of bad minigames, how about the Final Fantasy VII remake? Not that all the minigames are bad, but there's some fun ones in there, like the Whack-a-Box. How about that squats minigame? Or not the squats, the pull-ups, I should say. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, yeah, something to look forward to. Oh, but I was about to say the music gave up. The music got sick of this. We're gonna cut this one close, assuming we manage it at all. I actually have to get this one now. You give us 3 seconds for that one. That's nice of them. Oh, I thought I was gonna miss that one again. Oh, come on. Yeah, you can't afford to mess up. You cannot afford to get hit with one of those blocks of ice by the penguins. By the pangolins, as a certain British celebrity would call them, but... I think I've already exceeded my 3 tries, and then I give up rule that I have set for this game, but we're still close, I can taste it. Oh. Yeah, if you go over the flag, it doesn't register as you. You have to actually pass through it on the ground level. Fair enough. Yeah, we should be fine. Oh god, that one, I always cut it close. My reflexes is to jump a little earlier than the game actually wants me to.
Very impressive slide work. Here, I found this dragonfly wandering around down here.
Surprise of all surprises.
Hey,
Wait, did he say Cube? His name is Cubert. Wait, hold on.
would you like to try our peaceful slide again?
That's interesting. So, do you see what happened there? Sparks, with his generic voiceover, like the one, like, told us about a second challenge the monk didn't tell us about. And now the monk is reusing his dialogue from before, which indicates to me they hastily added a second slide to this scenario here and didn't have time to get one of the monkeys to record a voiceover for it. That, or we're about to waste our time doing a completely pointless second run of this. Because so far this is looking like the same exact challenge we just did. Oh, I see here. Was this here the first time round? Very well might have been, I just might not have seen it. Oh. I have a feeling that's going to come back to bite me. Oh my god, the game was steering me into the wall and I had like basically no control over anything there. And there we go.
Impressive, most impressive. Would you?
Yeah, sorry, I'm never gonna get the timing right on that. I'm never gonna jump when the game wants me to jump on that. This is a big reason I'm not a fan of 3D platformers. Very specific jumps. I feel like games should always give you leeway when it comes to jumps. If you're gonna do jumping platforming, whatever you want to call it, be kind to players. Don't err on the side of pixel precision. Don't make asks like within like a millisecond or like, you know, frame perfect timing stuff. You know, people I'm sure can tell me to get good, or, you know, like the game gives you plenty of time and I'm just jumping way early, but it doesn't feel like I'm jumping way early. It seems like I'm jumping early. Earlier than the game wants, but I see that edge coming up, and my reflex is just like, well, I don't want to fall off it, because falling off is death. At least I have a chance if I jump early, rather than late.
Very impressive slide. Hey, it's Vance.
But where's Prancer? Where's Vixen? And Blitzen?
Would you like?
And so on and so forth.
Okay.
Oh, I see a tweet I want to respond to. Someone asking a question about a video game, and I feel tempted to respond, but no, I cannot. I'm playing a game of my own. The most dangerous game. Here's questions for chat. Here is one I'll ask. Because y'all strike me as people who probably like platformers a fair bit more than I do. I'm assuming most of you in here are a little less genre exclusive than I am, where FPS is the only genre I really like get down with for the most part, besides like RPGs, Western RPGs specifically, but whole other story there. If I were to attempt to, let's say, find a 3D platformer that I might not hate, what would be recommendations along those lines? And don't say Banjo-Kazooie. Don't say Super Mario 64, because those games are fine, but I wouldn't choose to play them. Like, what am I missing out on? If not those, I know those are the games as far as most people are concerned. Like, those are the go-tos, but you know, never clicked with me, never once in my life, and doubt they're gonna click now. I'm attempting to replay them. Is there some sort of 3D platformer that would appeal to my sensibilities, from what little you know of me, from what I've done in these streams and on the site and whatnot? And, you know, hopefully doing these streams, y'all have a chance to learn more about me. That's the hope with this, is that I become a bit more personable doing these. But I'm able to speak a bit more freely outside of my format, my really rigid format. Oh, am I about to get like locked into? Yeah, for a second there I felt completely like locked and stun locked, where I couldn't like get out of that, but I just barely managed. Luckily. There we go. That's the roast rabbit I was looking for. Is there such a thing as a 3D platform without platforming? Without really precarious jumps every, like, couple minutes? I guess that's what I'm looking for, primarily. I guess that wouldn't be much of a platformer, per se, but then again, that's kind of the point, isn't it? at least I could, like, if people ask me, like, for a first-person shooter that doesn't feel like a first-person shooter, you can actually answer that question. There are valid choices, like, I don't know, like Lovely Planet. That's more of a score attack game. It has an element of shooting in it, but... Or if you really wanted to stretch that kind of a question, or... Oh, now I really am stun-locked. Ah. Woof. Video Game King suggesting Kingdom Hearts. Is that a 3D platformer? I've played Kingdom Hearts. That's an RPG. I think that's maybe stretching the definition. Even if you say that the first one was based on Super Mario 64 to some extent. There's our key, by the way. I wonder if this is the way we were intended to get here. Because I see those platforms, and it gets me thinking, unless that's just for the return trip. Well, actually, it's for some all-new destination altogether. The physics on this make me worry that... Oh! Come on. Come on, game. Cut me some slack, please. Like, come on, that's brutal. Like, make the flutter a little higher, a little more generous. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking you to, like, hold my hand completely. I'm just asking you to be fair and balanced. Alright, here goes another minigame. Also, as far as Kingdom Hearts is concerned, because I realized I didn't give much of an opinion, Kingdom Hearts is fine. I don't get mad about Kingdom Hearts. I think it's a little clunky. In fact, I think it's very clunky. And I sort of cringe at some of the more earnest scenes in it, and some of the dialogue, and some of the shoehorned in references and characterizations, but
Spyro,
that's JRPGs. You know, that's just Japanese character design at a certain point.
Destroy all the Riptop factories with the Spitfire plane?
Is another plane game?
Destroy the Riptop.
So yeah, I don't begrudge them that. They just have a different perspective than we do when it comes to some of that stuff. Ooh, we got some frame rate going right now. Why do they even give you the machine gun when this rocket is, like, clearly the way to go? Also, if there's, like, anything to restore your health in this... That was a nice hitch up. The game is, like, completely, like, locked up for a second there. I'm sure this sounds awesome. It's deafening for me, who's playing it at, like, full volume. I duck the audio for the stream so that you can hear my wonderful speaking, but...
Great job, Spyro. Here, I found this Dragonfly in one of the factories. Why don't you take it?
Like, one of the factories I blew the fuck up? Amazed he survived.
Hey, it's John.
That's the most plain Jane name I've seen for one of these dragonflies.
The Riptops just keep rebuilding their factories, so feel free to go destroy them anytime you like.
Yeah, no, that's alright. They can have their factories. Video Game King saying, so it turns out I'm a very little help when it comes to 3D platform recommendations. It's alright, don't worry about it. Sure, I could recommend you a billion obscure 2D platformers, but both my obscure game list and the list of games I've beaten aren't offering much in the way of 3D platformers. It's alright, I don't care for 2D platformers either, as it turns out. But that's me. Again, don't begrudge anyone. People who enjoy platformers, you're free to like what you like. And I get the appeal. I understand. Just, you know, not for me. I just feel like I don't have any control over platformers. I feel like learning the nuances of controlling a character in a platformer... I've never, like, played a platform that ever clicked with me. And I don't know if I ever will. I'd be fascinated to see if it ever happened. I'd be interested for it to happen.
What happened? I feel like an iced lolly. Did those rip-talks put me on ice? Egads. Thank you, Spyro.
The subtitle clearly says gosh, but he clearly said egads. I'd like to report an inconsistency with the dialogue here. Least of this game's fucking problems, obviously. Oh, right. Forgot that these things are hostile. In that, once you get grabbed by them, it is very hard to get ungrabbed by them. Alright, so I want to make it back to that one Yeti. By the way, the answer to the question that I'm sure is on everyone's minds when I say that I never feel like I'm in control of a 3D platformer, or platformer in general for that matter, or like I can't control those characters. The answer of what games do you feel like you can't control? The answer is first-person shooters. Because it's just like one-to-one. It's just like I move the mouse, and that is how fast you turn. You move the mouse, your head moves with it. You press WASD on the keyboard. You walk or strafe in those directions. I remember the old... Anyone remember a web series by the name of Pure Ownage? I'm really dating myself with that one. But, character FPS Doug. I can do a bunch of really old references here. Everything old is new again. I'll claim I'm doing it ironically, but I used to be a fan of that series back in, like, what, 2003, 2004? It really is that old. Maybe 2004, I think. Anyway, there's a character named FPS Doug, and there's conversation about the difference between playing RTS and FPS, and it's just like, in RTS I'm controlling a whole army, man, you know, and then FPS Doug is like, fuck that, I'll play a first-person shooter, and I'll be one soldier, and I'll take on an entire army as that soldier, because I have perfect control over that soldier. Where, you know, you're playing RTS, and you're just sending dudes to their death, but you're not controlling them, you don't have any granularity over it.
Hey, it's Joling.
It's sort of subject they touch upon, and that's sort of the... They don't go into any depth about it, because it's two shouting idiots. It's two, like, moron characters having a yelling match, and, like, speaking in, like, leaked speak out loud, because that was style at the time. But there's a valid point to be made there. That, you know, it's awesome if you like an RTS. But at the same time, it's just, you know, you're not granular. And, you know, they have their stats, they have their dice roll attacks. It's game of chance. Whether they beat a comparably sized army, it can go either way. But if you're controlling a soldier, you know, the odds might be against you as you face down a squadron of tanks. But if you're a competent player, if you're super skilled, you can find a way through it. There's always some way to overcome those obstacles. It's because the control is so tight. Anyway, that's why I love FPS. So I think there's a couple places we can go at this point, if not mistaken. I'm trying to remember which direction. Oh, you know what? I left too early. I should have seen what was in that chest. Hey, guess what? We're going back. Actually, no, we're not, because this is going to be a Dragonfly. It's going to be another Dragonfly. Oh, no. Oh, I pressed B to try and cancel, but B is the warp button. Completely unnecessary load coming up. That's awesome. Sorry, y'all. Will the fast forward button make the loads go faster? No, because it's actually loading. There totally is a fast forward button in the simulator I could be using. But again, I'm unsure as to the usefulness of it. That might be a little faster. I will try to remember to use that from now on during those load screens. As long as it's load screens we've seen before. You know, I talk a lot about genre stuff. What I like, don't like. And, I'll touch more on that subject once I think my favorite character in the game. He might finally let us through here onto his honeycomb raft.
Well, that should do it, Spyro. Hop aboard the raft and get ready for the Honey Moss Rapids.
Here we fucking go. Alright, so genre stuff. This whole scene, this whole retro games preservationist angle scene that I'm sort of adjacent to at this point, I feel that that's like the word for it, the term. The preservationist scene, or the, because I play modern games well enough, it's not exclusively retro. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. Like, you know who I'm talking about, and who our peers in this field are, and who people that we get along with, and other sites of our ilk. And you know, at a certain point, I feel like a fucking alien in terms of what my tastes are versus what everyone else's tastes seem to be. I think I have like one or two people I can relate to, like Tonic BH, who gets into obscure first-person shooters in the same way that I do.
Critters have messed this here place up, but good.
Is that like...
I tells you what,
Sparks called him Opie. That's a throwback reference.
Honey. There are some honey stills draining all the honey from Honey Marsh. You help us get rid of them, and any of them there dragonflies you're going on about that you find along the way, you can keep. Just keep that between us now, you hear?
Yeah, I'll come back now. Bless you, Tom Kenny. Pulling double duty on this game. Alright, so that honey, not instant kill, luckily. Just does harm, so we mess up platforming here. There's still hope for us. Tonic BH talking about, you say that about me, meanwhile I'm writing an upcoming piece about Battle Royale, something that's not obscure. Yeah, that's fair. I mean to say, like, I get into obscure FPS. We get into FPS in general, that you are one of the few people I know in this scene that like can get into modern FPS just as well as I do. It feels like so many people, and I'll read another comment here. Video Game King saying, I'm curious as to what the tastes are in this space. My tastes tend to be stupidly obscure shit you only find in browsing PSX Planet or the PC Engine Bible on a whim. Yeah, no, for sure, and that seems to be common enough sentiment. You know, like, don't get me wrong, obscure PS1 games, I'm down for. Not so much with the 16-bit stuff. Not that I'm, like, against it. I'll play it if it's interesting, but I just don't find 16-bit games interesting, for the most part. I just, you know, around the time the SNES and Genesis were, like, popular and people were getting into those games, largely platformers and RPGs, as it turns out, who'da thunk it? Largely side-scrolling fare and shooters and beat-em-ups and shmups. And it was just like, I'm playing Doom right now, and no game even comes close to this. And that's the way I felt like for years. You know, then it becomes like Quake, and you know. And I wasn't so much into the build engine stuff, but that's a whole other story. Anyway, this fostered this love of FPS in me, this familiarity with it, and I want to see that genre advance. And then I have my opinions about how well it controls. Oh, I didn't realize we were down completely on Dragonflies and whatnot. And I should also mention I was playing like Western RPGs at the time. I was big into Ultima and Neverwinter Nights and, you know, games of that ilk. Icewind Dale too, big one for me. But anyway, the grander point I'm trying to make is that I just don't know how many other people in this scene have those similar tastes. Like, I love the Retro Pals. I'm using it as an example, and I'm sure they won't mind, because it's nothing against them personally, obviously. It's just saying that, you know, you get the feeling that they like shmups. They like really, like, they like their obscurities. They're probably fans of platformers. But, you know, you don't really see them playing anything PC. In fact, there's a running joke on their stream that Danny doesn't play anything PC. And, you know, you don't see him play first-person shooters ever. And I'm sure like Sardus, I'm sure Danny like isn't against FPS. I'm sure he's played plenty in his time and his work. But it is not something you see them talk passionately about, which is fine. But I just don't see many people in this scene talking passionately about FPS. It seems like I'm an island of one, or an island of a few. Obviously, I'm not completely alone in this regard. There's people I've mentioned, other people I haven't mentioned here. But the prevailing thing seems to be like that 16-bit era is the era that everyone like clamors and hangs on to. That games from that generation, the SNES, Genesis, TurboGrafx a lot. I know there's a lot of TurboGrafx love. Or even moving into like the 3D space, even moving into like the sixth gen with fifth and sixth gen with like Dreamcast stuff. And I can't think of a single Dreamcast game I like. It's just not a console I had any familiarity with. Or like, attachment to, and just wasn't providing games in my wheelhouse, in my genre, that would be there for me, that I would like be able to name for you. I'm sure there's a couple FPSs. There's like Outrigger, I think is okay. Blue Stinger, there's a couple survival horror games on there. But I don't know. Didn't seem like there was a way to dodge that. I mean, with my 0 health, because I keep falling into these honey pits, because I'm not good at navigating or controlling in this game, because the turn radius is so wide still. Hey, little piggy. Let me free you. Let me read some chat. How do I even exist? Says, in an ideal world, I would be big into playing old Western RPGs, but in the world we live in, I just play Dwarf Fortress. Hell yeah, I play Dwarf Fortress. It's not quite a Western RPG. But, it's got, like, that progression, almost. It has, like, a lot of that ASCII art, especially if you play, like, the original ASCII art. It's, like, throwback to... Well, original Ultima isn't ASCII art. Rogue would be, but, Ultima might as well have been, like, a game, like a teletext ASCII art game, with how primitive some of that stuff looked. Similar specs, like, black backgrounds and colored graphics on top of it. That look. Tonic VH saying, I'm thinking about how there isn't much of a scene in terms of FPS fanatics beyond current stuff, or retro enthusiasts that refuse to acknowledge anything past 2005. Yeah, that's kind of the hiccup in that scene. Or if you try to talk to people who play nothing but FPS, you'll get a lot of, like, weird elitists in that sense. What was the thief holding? A dragonfly? Handy. Duckweed!
Hey, it's duckweed!
Video Game King says, put like that, yeah, I get the politics around retro gaming. Emulating older PC games is a bit more out of the way, so people don't talk about it as much, which obviously turns into a feedback loop. Yeah, people aren't investing in, like, the old computers in the way that they invest in old console hardware. Is a very valid point. Even though it should be theoretically easier and cheaper just to get an old PC, to get, like, some old throwaway Windows XP machine, and then it is to get, like, some $700 obscure console imported from Japan that never came out in the States, or whatever the case may be. I'm inventing a theoretical console in my mind right now. Foxhack. I've tried to get into mid-2000s FPS games, but there's so many stuck with broken graphics due to deprecated features or horrible DRM doesn't work now. Yeah, getting into the subject of needing an old PC for a lot of that stuff versus trying modern stuff. I tried for the longest time just to do, like, VMware and stuff, but at some point, you need to just get an old tower. That's the solution. You get them for $20 on Craigslist here in the States, and I'm sure there's other means to get them in other countries, but, Tonic BH, I've been meaning to play and do it Deus Ex Invisible War, but that game is straight up busted on PC because how mangled that game runs. Yep, absolutely. Video Game King. I guess it speaks to how much experience I have with old PC games. My huge list of obscure games, which is organized by system, has a section titled Older PC Games.
Swamp Shootout. Us honey folk done love shooting stuff with our tank.
Yeah, the frame rate here is single digits.
Anyone who can shoot down on him at target.
What's going on in the scene? It's just 3 characters, or 2 characters in a tank.
You think?
Dragon enough to handle it. Hee 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 hee.
Great.
I'm trying to skip past the scene before the game crashes again. So sorry, I'm going to miss out on this dialogue here. I'm going to miss out on this voice acting. We're going to have some tank. Has been a minute since we've been in a tank. Gotta remember how to raise the turret. I know we can do that. Yeah, there we go. B and A to adjust that. Alright, have that ferry us across the way. Ooh, the performance here is chunk. And to be clear, we are playing in emulation, but the conceit with my emulation, whenever I emulate, I try to do it as close to system accurate as possible. There are settings in Dolphin to limit the VRAM and such to as if it were like actual console hardware, and while it's not perfect, while it's certainly not perfect, I do feel like this is indicative of performance on console, knowing that performance on console was quite poor for this game, as has been indicated to me. Why do I even bother trying to fight those enemies? I don't. Oh, I know they are the ones I need to kill. Yes, it's the bees that need to die. That's right. That's who we're targeting here. It's the other guys we can live and let die, but inverted Y-axis to contend with. Here we go. That took a second. Oh, there's a time limit on this one? There wasn't a time limit in the other one, was there? Oh well.
You'll have to try harder than that to clear the sugary sweet sticky swamp shootout, Spyro. Try saying that 6 times. Come on, give it another try.
Sugary sweet sticky swamp shootout Spyro. 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 That was 6, right? I'm pretty good at tongue twisters. Alright, now that I know we're up against the clock here, I'm going to put some grease on my feet. And we'll get this moving. Also did not spot any recovery items in that initial go-through. So I wonder if the game is just not being generous to us anymore. If at this point, the game is through hand-holding, coddling us. Yeah! Okay. Yeah. Alright.
You'll have to try harder than that.
Shh. Let's be quiet, little gator. I'm not so sure about our chances on this one, to be honest. As much as I would love to beat this, to beat the Nintendo, as they say, this one seems a little mean. This one seems downright rotten. There's no dodging that. There's no like strafing, and I need to be in place to get that, to get those shots off. I don't think I have enough range to hit the bees from here. I think the game wants me to be in spitting distance of their bullets. Okay, that's good enough. That'll have to do. Oh, come on. The blast damage, the lingering effect of that. If the rest of this is on rails, I might have a chance. But at least I feel like I'll dodge shots if we're on rails here. Or I'll shoot them out of the air, as the case may be. Hope I don't have to hit the nests, because I know I missed the nest already. Oh, and I can't turn around! Alright, so we've already lost, actually. Because I know I need to kill all the bees, but I can only turn, like, within 180 degrees here. So we've already forfeited, basically. Unless this has a return trip attached to it. So close, too. Alright. Oh, I'm not even going to be able to turn this around, am I? Because the controls here aren't really tank controls so much as they are... Great. Okay. One more try. If only this was all on rails. I don't know, that might actually be worse, but... This one part that isn't on rails sucks complete ass. And the rail section sucks a little less ass, so... Hopefully. There we go. I don't think this is close enough to hit those bees. Oh, it was actually. And now I put myself in the danger zone. At least we'll get an answer to... Yes, we do have to hit the nests. Wait, no we don't. Or maybe we do. No, we don't. Okay. Glad to have an answer for that. So we can just focus on the floating bees here. Alright, let's get as much of a lead as we can on this. If we don't got it this time, we ain't getting it ever. I feel like knocking out the hive... I feel like, one, the hive should be smaller. And two, knocking them out should knock out the surrounding bees, like an explosive barrel or something. Well, that's just me.
Awesome shooting, Spyro. You sure you ain't my fifth cousin?
Ooh. Cousin jokes. I mean, not necessarily an incest joke there.
Hey, it's
Ah?
Pliskin.
Hey, Snake Pliskin. Iroquois Pliskin. We're out of them there dragonflies, but you can play the Sticky Swamp Shootout again if you want. No. That's alright. If there's nothing for it, then I don't give a shit. If there is no incentive, then there is no motivation for me to play. Hello, people joining right now. Yeah, if you're now joining us, you've only missed an hour of interchangeable Spyro action. So really not much at all, as it turns out. Let me tab, fast forward that. Hey, it actually worked. Possibly. Those Super Surfer boys, back at it again. I think I already got that thief in his prize, so I don't think I need to worry about catching him again. Oh! Oof. That was a sticky situation there for a second. What were we talking about before? We were having a good conversation. We were having an interesting conversation about video game genres and how people in the scene are not limited in their scope, but how my interests rarely align with theirs. How my love of FPS makes me feel like a foreigner in my own scene. Was there anything more for me to say about that? Probably not. I think I covered all the ground there. I'm just struggling because I want to talk about anything, something.
Hey, it's Russell Tim.
That isn't this game. Also, I like how this Dragonfly had a last name. None of the other ones so far have, but Russell Tim. I don't know if going this direction is taking us further away or if we're missing out on anything by doing this. I mean, I guess it's taking us back towards the beginning of the level, so... Oh, Rio D is saying they're playing FF7 Remake. Turns out I am too. Turns out that it's pretty good. I do like it. I think I mentioned the pull-up minigame in it as being maybe not the best part of that game, but it is a part of that game. For better or for worse. But I have some hiccups with that game, to be sure, but by and large, the experience has been positive. I think it makes some smart changes in terms of how scenes are laid out. I think some of those levels are super overlong. Oh, this is really cool. So what's happening there, and what's about to kill me, I just barely avoided it, was that because there are platforms in this game that are physicsed, and they put them on surfaces where if you touch a surface you get injured.
Hey, it's Suzuki.
I sunk into the ground because the platform is like, you know, like wobbly, and I took the damage, and when you take the damage, it shoots you up in the air to try and give you a chance to escape from it. But, problem being there that it just tosses you further into the muck there. And so what you saw was me struggling to get some sort of stable ground here. Like, miraculously, this isn't hurting me right now, but you saw at some point it was earlier. Video Game King saying they've only had access to the discourse around the FF7 remake, which has been something. Yeah, some people don't like change in any way, shape, or form. Some people are really stuck in their ways about a, what is it, 23-year-old game? Already saying it's like, what, 7.5 or 8 out of 10? Yeah, I'm leaning towards like 4 out of 5 for it. Granted, it's been like, I have put a lot of hours into it, more so than like a Doom Eternal, or even an Animal Crossing at this point, which I've fallen off of. Just because the way the second player mode, where if you have another player who's the dominant player in that game, who is like the primary player, there's really not much to do as a second player, as it turns out. And I thought I could cope with that, but it turns out I can't. Anyway, so yeah, while FF7 has definitely been the game that's commanded the most attention from me, and it's definitely really good, I still have my bugbears with it. Mostly to do with interminably long length of certain sections of the game, how it just drags certain things out.
Hey, it's Swan.
Past the point of being fun, past the point of being interesting, and past the point where anyone should be, like, stepping in and saying, like, are you sure we need to, like, put a whole other, like, puzzle room with, like, moving platforms between the player and the objective, between the point where they know they're headed, the destination they know they're going to land in? Oh! Well, now we're fucked, because I tried to take a shortcut. I tried to get cute with it. I tried to glide from there to there and bypass all the platforming here, but clearly that was fool's folly. You are not allowed to skip anything in this game. Not allowed to get creative. Oh yeah, this is just nothing. This is a dead-end corner here. Yeah, I'm not going to get too much into FF7 Remake for people who still need to play it, still want to play it. Because you should definitely go into that game with some sort of fresh perspective. I feel like it's a game that benefits from going in without your expectations being modulated, modified by whatever other parties. If you want to play it, you're going to play it, probably. With that game out, what games are there to look forward to besides Part 2 of Remake, due eventually? What else is coming up on the horizon? I know Video Game King here is saying it's come before, but you don't need to collect the gems. You only ever use them for money bags. It shows up once in the entire game. Yes, they're in the way, and I see them, and it's the part of my brain that is just like, collect the colorful items. Yeah, here's another spot where the turn radius turning is just the worst. Like, even when you're stationary, the fact that it, like, sends you in a direction, and people saying, camera in this game kind of makes me sick, not gonna lie. I'm with you, Sock Puppet Kingdom. Yeah, I am not a fan. It has been bad to us thus far. It has been a little sickening, but mostly it's been frustrating. Mostly it's just, it's cost us precious time, lives, health, in descending order of importance. God, I love his shoes. I love his fit.
We got ourselves a problem here.
Oh, we sure do.
These here Riptocs have set up shop in our trees. They're using them bees to launch attacks on us. If you could wipe them all out, I'd be much obliged. When you're done, go see my second cousin, Warren Bob.
Cool. Now it's time to go kick some Riptoc butt.
Well, them beehives are pretty tough, so you're gonna need to swallow those rocks and spit them out like watermelon seeds.
As if we've not been kicking Riptoc butt this entire time. Anyway, where's the portal or whatever that's going to give us the ability to knock these fools out? It might be right. Oh yeah, it's the rocks over there. Ah, yeah, let's take care of that. Let's just do that. Because I see there's another direction we can go, but... Okay, how do I eat another rock? We can only carry one at a time. And we have to walk into the pile. Because there's not a button you press. This is... Okay. So here's what happened. Here's the play-by-play. The goal here is to swallow a rock. You can store one in your mouth at any moment in time. And to spit them back out as projectiles. Good in theory. But because there's contextual hotspots in this game, as opposed to button presses all the time to talk to characters, to interact with stuff, you just have to trust that the game will have Spyro eat the rock. As he did there. Very handy. Thank you, Spyro. Alright, now I want to eat another rock. So I'm walking into it. There we go. I was trying before to walk into it, ended up walking around it, getting stuck in the honey, and basically losing all my health, and then getting zapped by a baddie. As you saw almost happen there again. So what we have here, at the end of the day, is some bad design, as it turns out. Where there should just be a button. Yeah, here we go! There we go! Okay. Is there a rock in her mouth right now? Spyro's mouth looks full. I didn't see the animation for putting a rock in our mouths, but... So I'm walking into it right now. That's not good enough. It has to be this exact spot, apparently. With some very specific timing. Otherwise the whole enterprise is bust. Is that going to hit the B or the... Alright, I think miraculously, mission accomplished. I do see an additional target up there, though, that I want to hit. This probably won't hit. This will probably miss. Yeah, because there is a trajectory on that one. Yeah, that's, so everything about that whole thing. And there's nothing here. There's no vantage. There's no other spot to try and, hit that target from. I want to talk to this dude while I have a mouthful of rocks.
I don't believe it. You did it!
I told you I could handle it.
There we go.
Backcountry, you know.
Yeah, but I didn't think you could really do it. Now I owe Jimmy Bob $5.
And you owe us 1 dragonfly.
So bucks, dollars are currency in this world?
Here you go.
Where's the mint?
Hey,
Whose
it's
face is
Will.
on the bill? Where'd that dragonfly go? How did Spyro talk with his mouth full? So many questions. Sock Puppet Kingdom saying hi, Tom Kenny. But which Tom Kenny are you saying hi to? Are you saying hi to Spyro's Tom Kenny? Or that Gator's Tom Kenny? Because they're both Tom Kenny. Tom Kenny does like half the voices in this game. Bless his heart. No one else was gonna do it. They might as well have had him do like every character in this game at a certain point. Wouldn't hurt anything. Can the game toss us a rabbit or something to recover our health with? No, but it can toss us some bad platforming. We'll just have to play extra careful, I guess. Okay, I smell something in this direction. Oh, thank God this is a stationary dragonfly.
Hey, it's Gory.
Oh! That one hurt physically. That one really hurt physically. That one got me right in the ooh. When I fell off of that, when I turned and the turn radius threw me off of it. Have I mentioned that I loathe the controls in this game? And they're not even that far removed from Spyro Run 2, 3 controls, if I'm not mistaken, has been the consensus. Sure, it's a bit more busted because this game is busted all around. Because there's like jank when it comes to collision and physics and so on and so forth. But that turn radius is straight out of Spyro 1, if I'm not mistaken. That inability to travel in a direction. The collision is new. The collision, the fact that, or at least I think it is, I'm assuming it is, I'm hoping it is, the fact that if you intersect with something, that it sends you plummeting down to the ground faster than you can even think to try to recover. But altogether, just awful. Like, I'm so far past the point of having, like, of trying to give this game the benefit of the doubt, and I don't like that. I don't think it's fun to hear me complain just constantly. I'd rather be, like, trying to mount some sort of defenses for this. I think that's more interesting. It's more fun to listen to.
Hey, it's Tim.
You can get anyone complaining about video games. You can get anyone yelling at video games and just, like, nitpicking and whatever. And so I try to be a bit more constructive, but at this point, like, this is as close as you're going to see me to getting mad at games. Where I'm just, like, I'm out of patience. I'm out of time for this game. It's just, it doesn't respect my time at all. So why should I respect it in any capacity? I know there's conversations to be had about this game, how it was rushed, how it's not the developers were seeking to maliciously make a bad game, obviously. Victims of circumstance, of a schedule that they had to adhere to, so on and so forth, but...
Thanks for your help, Spyro.
Thanks, but no Dragonfly, huh? I see how it is. Is this going to be our loop back to the beginning of the level? Will there be a Dragonfly in it for us if we... Wait, no. That's a Sparkle Gate. Have we been through that Sparkle Gate? Or is this whole area new? Everything is blending together. I'm gonna see if this is new. It probably isn't. We've probably been here. This is probably one of the minigames we've already played. Fast forward. Will you save us? Will you make this easier on us?
Oh, that darn BS one of the Dragonflies.
Oh, this is new.
Can
Okay.
you chase him down the slide so we can get the Dragonfly back? But be careful. He's got a stinger that'll whip my bad back right into shape.
Sure, another slide game. At this point, we're finally repeating some of the mini games. At the beginning of the game, we had all these like unique mini games, one after another, and it's like, wow, there's a lot of variety here. And so it's totally fine that they can repeat them now. So I guess that's not the bee we're meant to be chasing? Even though I think that's the bee we're meant to be chasing? I don't get it. That's just an incidental bee, I guess. Anyway, there's no time limit on this. Unlike the other one. This does look a lot longer, though. This does look a lot more elaborate. This does look like we're in this for a minute. Is there even a point to taking, like, the high road here? To taking the ostensibly shorter path? Because, again, not up against the clock. We just gotta be extra careful with our platforming here, with our jumps. Which are, again, a little hard to discern. Oh! That was clutch, as the kids say. There was no time to prepare for that. And that jumper's precarious at best. But somehow I persevered. I managed to recover. Yeah, I'm just about ready for this one to end, this slide. Oh, just as soon as I say that too. Perfect. Video Game King says, yeah, it's weird that the first slide level has a time limit where the second one doesn't. All the game design rules developers would have followed at the time. We're telling them to do the exact opposite. Yeah, absolutely.
Good job, Spyro. With your help, we managed to stop that bee right in its tracks. He won't be bothering anyone anymore. I got the Dragonfly from him, too. Here you be.
Cute. No Spyro line for that one.
Wanna practice riding down the honey slide again?
No.
That slide.
And I realized I stopped him before he delivered a line about how surprising this honey is very slick and slippery rather than sticky as honey is wont to be. But you can imagine the line read for that. You can picture the voice. You can hear the voice in your head, hopefully. It's already 6:30 right now. Usually I'd go 2 hours, but I'm really hoping we can finish this fucking game. So I'm going to go a little long tonight. Those of you along for the ride, bless your hearts. Now some stuff not loading in. There's probably one more to collect here. I'll give it like a cursory attempt at trying to find this one. Then we're going back to that overworld, because I know we don't need every Dragonfly. Mercifully, we do not need every Dragonfly. Being told we only need 4 more Dragonflies, technically speaking. That said, I do need to see the other levels in the minigames, because again, the reason we're playing this isn't just because, you know, for funsies, certainly not for funsies, is because I need footage of everything across the game. And yeah, since that Dragonfly was not in the path, we're going back to the Dragon Realms. Zoom. Yeah, I want to get a cut of all the content here, so that when it comes time to make GIFs for the guest article, I have plenty to choose from. I have plenty to show to our guest contributor, and they can decide which ones go into the article and whatnot. But to do that, you need to be thorough. Thorough enough. Doesn't need to be 100% completion, but it needs to be footage from every level in the game, and every minigame, and knowing just how egregious it can get. If this was just about completion, we would have finished this in the first episode. I would have done it in 5 minutes time with that skip into the ground or whatever. I just realized I went in the wrong direction. The path we need to go was up, not down. Already cleared this corner. What with the honeybee area over there. Have the hub worlds always been this underwhelming? I seem to remember, and this could just be the childhood nostalgia from when I last played Spyro, which was decades ago, that the hub in Spyro 1 is like a lot more larger and expansive. You have all the dragons to talk to in it. Whereas this is just like center area, then 2 areas off to the sides that you can go down to get to levels. I don't know, this doesn't feel as exciting, doesn't feel as, like, lived in. Is a word that was used earlier in the chat. Or a term that was used earlier in the chat. I don't buy this world. Alright. This should be a new area for us to go into.
I was working on a fantastic new experiment, but I suddenly disappeared from my laboratory. If you find some more of these dragonflies, I bet their magic could get this contraption working again.
65 dragonflies needed for you. Luckily, I think there's another area we can go to.
Ouch!
So here's a question for all y'all. Once we're done with this game, the only other currently ongoing game I have to return to at this point is I'm going to do more Fugitive Hunter War on Terror for the PS2. And after that, who knows? World's our oyster.
You did it! Wow! You're even shiftier than me! That's enough magic to make this cover fly up and away! Hop aboard!
So, these series that we've been doing a game across multiple episodes, the retention here is higher than I thought. The fact that we have 30 people watching a third part of this, I always worry about diminishing viewers and returns and so on and so forth, people giving up, not wanting to see the whole game through, but we got a pretty decent share of it. So I'm wondering, do I keep doing this, or do I try to just do one-offs? Do I try to do more just like, here's a grab bag of random games that we're going to play for like an hour, 45 minutes, or however long, and then just move on to the next thing and not think about that game again, but I don't know. Who's to say? It's also, the stream is also useful for, I see like this as an excuse to play this game that I wouldn't otherwise play, that I need to get footage for. I could use the stream to just capture my process of playing other games that I need to get footage for. So what is the theme of this world? Just like Arabian Nights sort of treasures and magic carpets.
Can you do anything to help us?
Try deflecting their attacks. This is the first time we're being asked to use the wing shield here, which is L and R together. So we'll see how well that works against these apparent gimmick enemies coming up. I think we need to be on the lookout for those treasures with legs and to catch them or burn them or something. At least that water is an instant death. Alright. Deflect. Hit yourself. Do I need to angle myself in a different way? Yeah, what is the angle on this? If I face completely towards him, will that do it? Also, lovely fucking water we have here. Okay, whatever. Why am I even bothering trying to kill this dude? Clearly nothing is going to be accomplished or earned for doing it. It's just supposed to be an example of how the wing shield mechanic works, or in this case, doesn't. We'll give it a shot with this guy. Maybe because that one dude was in water, that was causing problems. Okay, that worked a lot better. And I'm sure that's how it was intended to work, but that one dude was not cutting it. I'm assuming and hoping that by capturing or, you know, getting the treasure guys with legs, that's contributing to some sort of, like, you know, overarching mission, what have you. Because that one dude inquired about turning the treasure that had been turned into monsters back into something else. Because if I'm just doing this for the treasure, then it's pointless. If there's a dragonfly at the end of it, it's also kind of pointless because we already have sufficient number. How do I even? He just says, I thought he was just referring to the fact that enemies drop gems when they die. That'd be a reasonable assumption, but the fact that he's showing these enemies, I think he is saying that the treasure has been transformed into monsters, rather than the monsters, than the Riptocs stealing however much treasure that we're picking up off of their bodies. Come on, abracadabra, you little bastard. Whatever. Why do I even bother? When I forgot that every time I do the shield, remember because it's L and R, and we're on the game key with the limited control, so every time you press L and R at the same time, if you press L a second earlier than the R, it switches your breath because that's the button that's also double bound to. So anyway, yeah, every time I'm expecting to do fire breath, I'm like blowing bubbles or ice or whatever. Because of the wonderful control allocation here. Just currently trying to find where we're meant to go next. Probably towards the center here. Yep, sure enough. There's something about the camera. I'm trying to turn it in a direction. Beautiful. I keep pressing R expecting it to be the dash button. For whatever reason, my mind is broken at this point, and I forgot what the controls I've been getting used to for the past 5-6 hours are. Anyway, that's what happens when I play with a controller. How do did I know there would be some stuff over here? I just took a complete, like, leap of faith and managed to make something of it.
Hey, it's Charlie.
Oh, I see a 1-up over there. Not that we need too many more of those, but who knows? There might be a platforming section coming up, and then I'll be glad I got them. And again, I know treasure is useless, but hoping that this walking treasure will pay off some sort of dividend for us. Oh, you're a flighty one. For the first time in a minute. Did you see me, like, warp across the screen because of the collision there? Ah, thank God.
Hey, it's Jordan.
I had the sneaking suspicion that one would come flying towards me again, so we left out there because I was not looking forward to chasing that bastard around anymore. Alright, Sparkly Gate. This should be a minigame. It might not be. It might just completely throw us for a fucking loop again, but something tells me we're heading in the right direction right now, towards another Dragonfly. Ah, third racing game. Third racing arena in the game, I should say. Let's race against a thief. Let's get a lay for the land. Let's see if we can get a feel for this map from this before we do the obstacle, whatever. So for these, if you remember, the rockets are useless. Taking enemies out is completely useless. What matters is boosting. Oh, that's a sketchy one. That was like a rough one to make sure I actually got through the gate on it, but essential that we do. And I Spy with my little eye. Yeah, these are critical to actually beating this, so if you're just following the primrose path laid out for you by the red dots, you have 0 chance of winning. If you're a kid and you're just going by instruction, going by direction as given to you by the game, and not going off the beaten path any. Okay, hopefully we're allowed to miss one. Oh, eat my whole ass. That was close enough. That should have been. I should have gotten points for that. That should have counted as going through the ring. Going through the ring itself, going through the ridge of the ring, should be going through the ring. But alas, it's because this is such a sketchy one here. Anyway, this seems like a short enough one at the very least. Mercifully short, mercifully small, hopefully. Hopefully the obstacle course won't take us too long either. Yeah, I thought so. I had a sneaking suspicion with how far apart the rings were there that there was going to be another boost there. So it's a good thing that we bailed out on the first one, because without that star, probably, without collecting that every lap, that would also probably doom us. Okay, whatever. That's the one we're allowed to miss. That's the one I'm permitted to miss, I hope. Alright, third lap. This is for all the marbles. Hope I don't collide with these guys. And yeah, the camera was colliding with them. Camera almost threw me off, but I see one guy ahead of me. Oh, they're affected by the stars too? They can actually... Oh well, it doesn't matter. We managed. That's what matters. Try again. No! Not for like $1 million. I don't know why I listen to
Hey, it's Neo.
Sparks' voice acting every time when it's the same voice clip, like the same 2 or 3 lines that they've reused for every single one of his dialogue prompts. Anyway, time attack, obstacle course. This should start with a ring lead in, right? And again, frame rate suffering. No optimization pass on this game. Alright, now, Cobras. I'm assuming I have to fire breath these. Hopefully I haven't missed any. I feel like I got into this path a little later than expected. I may have missed one at the top. But hopefully. Yep, sure enough. Proof's in the pudding that we have messed up, that I... Anyway, let's go towards the camels. We know how this works by this point. And I'll keep an eye out for that Cobra. I also see some dudes flying over there who I'm assuming I'm going to have to take out at some point. Let's take care of these first. Will I have any time to spare? Not with this camel all the way over there. I'm not going to find that Cobra in time. Oh, there it is. But I also have these dudes to take care of. Yeah, there's... This seems untenable. I don't see where... I didn't waste too much time, did I? Yeah, those dudes as a... I'm just trying to figure out in my head how the hell this is going to work. The other ones barely gave us like a few seconds to spare by the end of them. But that's a lot of dudes going around that circle over there. And the camels are spaced so far apart. Okay, let's try it where we take care of those guys first. I imagine we want to go in the opposite flow of traffic. Problem is because they're stacked, I can only get one at a time as I go around this loop. Alright, Cobra time. That's the first one. That's the one I missed before. I hope. If we missed one again, we're boned, but find out in a second. Okay, we're good. $40 seconds to do the camels. We might have this in the bag. I might have not optimized that first run as well as I thought I had. I thought I was pretty good the first time. I thought I was like hitting my targets and whatnot, but clearly that was not the case. Alright, there we go. Not as bad, not as tough as I thought it would be. Oh, is someone tweeting about Enter the Dragonfly right now? Why is Red Bar tweeting about Enter the Dragonfly? Hold on a second. Sorry. I have to respond. Just with the pure coincidence that is going on here. Anyway, there's a message there. If Red Bart enters the chat here, that would be very silly. Good old Coppertop. Our old buddy Coppertop. Friend of the stream, Coppertop. Yeah, man, what a cosmic coincidence that Red Bard would be tweeting about that stuff. About this game in particular. Because who thinks about this game? Who has this game on their mind at any moment in time? besides me, clearly. Now that's become my life. That's become my streaming go-to for the past couple weeks. Again, we have the guest article coming up on the site, the long-form article, describing what went wrong with this game. And, you know, just the reason I saw that Red Bard tweets, because I follow Red Bard, and they're very cool. They do long-form videos on subjects of anime culture on YouTube. So they come highly recommended. And not just saying that because there's a chance they might be watching at this point. How do I even, as this says, have I posted a preview of that article? I have not at this point. That one is strictly confidential for the time being. There still needs to be some editing passes done on it, and there's not GIFs for it yet, but all things in due time. The article is mostly written, as it is a guest article. And they were clearly a lot more efficient with their writing than I am, knowing how long it takes me to write. Is this the full circle, by the way? Is that the first dragon we saw? Or is that a dragon? Are the Riptox dragons? Question for the ages. But I'm assuming I don't have to kill them or deal with them in any way. And this is new area over here. Couldn't not be. Fill us in, little thief man.
You know, if I could swim, I'd dive under that water and press the switch to open that door up there.
But you can't.
Unfortunately, I forgot my water wings again. Say, maybe you can do it.
It's very subtle hinting and... oh! Stuck in a...
Watch out for the pool cleaner. It's dangerous!
Awesome camera angle there. Alright, so going underwater. And we're getting some messages in the chat. Noel says, oh gosh, this game I got as a Christmas gift around the time it was out. Then my mom threw it out a week later. Could she not stand the voice acting or something? Because that's where I'm at, sort of, kind of, right now. Now the voice acting's fine enough. I'm just looking for things to complain about at this point. And that's probably the least of the worries here. But yes, inquiring minds would like to know. I think I saw the chest that this... They brought these chests out, like, midway through the game. Like, the first 4 or 5 levels did not have chests and key puzzles, as far as I can recall. But suddenly every level's got them. Video Game King says, I think this is the part where the 100% speedrun soft locked. So it wasn't a 100% speedrun as much as it was a attempt at a 100% speedrun that we're talking about here. Oh, great. I stopped a little too soon. My little, It was the same glitch you encountered in the Luau world, where Spyro got caught on an NPC while trying to get into the conversation position. Yes, that has been a common one. Luckily, pressing that switch in only required us to headbutt it, like, briefly, for like a second. And then inertia, momentum took care of the rest. Hope we have a few more here. I did figure out that getting out of the conversation soft locks is as simple as opening up the map, the atlas, and then teleporting to another world. Still very inconvenient, and I imagine that would throw off your world record pace if it happened. But there is at least a fix for that. What there wasn't a fix for, I don't believe, was the soft lock during the challenge in the first level, where we completed one of the challenges, one of the Flame the Scarecrows challenge on the very last frame it was possible, and that caused the game to lock in a way that we couldn't menu out of. But I think there was another. Was there another soft lock that I had to like reset the game for? We've had 3 soft locks thus far in this game. For those of you joining us, 3 parts where the game gave up, and I damn near came close to giving up as well. But we've persevered thus far. Testosterone says, I got this game as a gift when I was a child. I don't remember liking it much. Less than the original Spyro trilogy. Does that speak to the folly of youth or the quality of the older game? Oh, I misread that. I put the wrong emphasis on that. I don't remember liking it much less than the original Spyro trilogy. Continuous thought there. Folly of youth, we'll go with. But, you know, any game. And this is an important point to make, you know. Here at the Bad Game Hall of Fame, we poop on a lot of games. We poo-poo. Oh. And there you go. That's a reason to poo-poo this game, is the lack of recovery there. That's on me, but I'm going to blame the camera anyway and the controls because it's in fashion to do so. But, you know, an important point I always like to raise is that one person's bad game is another person's favorite game. You know, I linked to that Red Bard tweet, and they were positive about the game. They remember it fondly from their childhood. They followed up a tweet saying it's a train wreck of a game, an absolute train wreck, but they love it and they're somehow pretty good at it. So, you know, nostalgia can go a long way. Or even, how you say? Why am I even trying to get on that platform? Is there going to be something there? Is there going to be any reward for that beyond the satisfaction of a job well done? Probably not. But yet, we're going to keep doing it. Until I do it. And we had, was it last time we streamed this game? Was it a week ago when someone found us streaming this game, clearly not familiar with the site, and was just like, oh man, my favorite game, I'm glad to see someone playing my favorite game. And I just have to be like, you know, that's awesome, but the stream may be a little negative for y'all. And I told them, like, where they're talking about, like, you know, how that game was a childhood, and they're able to overlook the flaws. Or even, like, to this day, you can still like this game. There's someone who can play this game right now without any nostalgia attached and probably find enjoyment in it. I'm not that person. And, you know, the goal of the article isn't just to explain why the game is bad. It's to explain why the game is bad, in some people's eyes. It's to explain the circumstances that led to it being the way it is, and being received the way it is. It's not just about pointing out the flaws, it's about understanding how those flaws came to be. It's about understanding the lack of development time that went into this game, and the reasons why that happened. Why there's a new studio working on this, and not Naughty Dog themselves. What am I even trying to do again? We have thus far not needed to kill any of those enemies, and I don't foresee the game changing it up now. But, you know, I probably don't need to re-explain the Bad Game Hall of Fame, like the premise of the website, and why we do these things we do, why we play these games we play. But, you know, for maybe people who are new to the stream, we play games considered to be bad. Doesn't necessarily mean they're objectively bad. I can point out flaws, but it's still okay to like games. I'm never going to begrudge someone for liking a game that I have problems with. Hell, some of my favorite games are inherently deeply flawed. I'm the president of the Drake and the 99 Dragons fan club, for Christ's sakes. So I know a thing or two about getting behind an underdog, getting behind a game that is kind of kind of gets the raw end of the deal, that gets the negative treatments. That being said, this game has not been kind to us, and consequently I have not been kind to it. This game has definitely... what is the point of this right here? Is it just to get us back on that platform there if we would happen to fall off of it? Because you turn around too quickly to do anything as far as getting up on that upper path there. Which I'm assuming I want to be on the upper path, because there's probably like a Dragonfly or something. I'm just... The camera should orient you in the direction that the game wants you to go at this point. Know what I mean? Like, whenever you get on these portals, Spyro goes in a certain direction, but the camera doesn't necessarily follow or orient itself in that direction. So you could be flying towards the camera. That happened a lot in the Cloud 9 level, where you got on that... You got in one of those like little warpy like spiral things. It shoots you up in the air, and next thing you know, you're flying towards the camera with no idea of what you're meant to be flying towards, where the platform you're meant to land on is. That was just bad control. Not an example of what I was talking about there, but... Well, let's see here. I'm going to turn the camera this way. That's what I mean. Right? Like, while Spyro is spinning around and going up in the air, the camera should be orienting itself and preparing itself to push you in a certain direction as well, to steer you in a certain way. That's all. That's simple design. That seems like very basic 3D platformer camera conceits, if you're trying to accommodate players. There's a Dragonfly I thought would be here. That said, there's also other stuff to do here. No, Dragonfly is the priority. Why must he be a flying one? Why must he be one that moves? Why can't you just be a stationary one?
Hey, it's Martin.
Video Game King. One gets the sense that playtesting was done in this game, but the development team had nowhere near the time or resources to implement. Yes, that would probably be accurate. Can't imagine that being too far off the mark. I'm assuming it's okay that we don't have to go all the way back up there this time around. Oh! Yeah, there we go. I thought I was going to fall off the side there and not be able to recover, but... just barely pulled it out. And this is where we were before. So we've plotted our course well enough here. Anything down there worth checking out? Probably not. I do see a portal to a minigame down below. We'll have to revisit that in time. But first, this is one of them their challenge gates, right? Alright, yeah, don't bother switching us to the power-up we need. Ice. Right, got it. You have ice in that direction, ice in this direction. I'm not trying to complete it right now, because there's not enough time. But I like to get an idea for what I'm going to have to do in the coming minutes. So yeah, sure enough, get all the ones in this room. Then it's 2 left, and it's the ones that are within eye shot over here, so we're going to have to glide over to those platforms. Maybe we have enough time? But no, we can't make this jump, can we? Yeah, I didn't think so. That's just, like, out of range. But if we fall down here, then go up, we can steer right into a wall and then lose it all. Okay, which direction is it supposed to send us? This direction. Got it. Okay. So now we know which direction the camera's going to send us in. That'll be immensely helpful for when we need to do this, like, relatively quickly in a few seconds.
Ouch.
Well, if anything we've learned from this one, it looks like there is enough time here, with half time remaining. I will try once more to just... Okay. Hey, we can avoid the problem of that spiral entirely. Beautiful thing.
Hey, it's Marta.
Bye, Marta. That's happened 2 times in the stream thus far, where we've lost sight of one of the dragonflies just as soon as they've appeared on screen. Alright, Ms. Yorsif. Huh? This conversation ain't happening anytime soon. Alright, struggle with the controls and try to break free.
Thanks for your help, Spyro.
That it? What? Okay, so it seems like killing all the running away treasure did not amount to anything. Well, someone asked how many dragonflies I have. 67. We're not quite at the number that you were hoping it would be, I'm sure. But we're close. I don't know why I thought collecting all the running away treasures, why all the monster treasures would get us anything. Why it would get us an extra dragonfly to have been thorough in collecting all these. Then again, there are a few more here. Then again, he didn't have any dialogue indicating that we missed them, that there would be any further prize. Noel asking what happened there. What happens is the camera, or the game, tries to move you into very specific positions for conversations with NPCs, and if you are in... so basically the game has to like control you until you get into that spot. But if you are like facing in a bad way, or a way the game doesn't intend, if you're in a weird position, the game will fail at attempting to walk you into that spot, into that position, and you will consequently get stuck in a soft lock potentially, in a situation where you are unable to get into that position, and sometimes it can leave the game completely hanging. Other times you can mash your way out of it, you can mash buttons until such a time as the game gives you control again.
Hey, it's Racket.
More like Racket and Clank, am I right? It's another video game. Was Ratchet and Clank out at this time? I don't think it was. Not that Racket means Ratchet. Whatever. I'm losing my mind playing this fucking game. Usually I'd end the stream now, 2 hours in, but we're so close I can taste it. I know Video Game King is saying that we have 65. You only need 65 to get to Ripto and beat the game, but again, I have to stress, as much as I would love to end this game right now, I can taste how done I am with this game, but we need to see everything there is to see. Unfortunately. Was there a second minigame in this area that we've missed thus far? Well, I don't care enough to do that. I just want to see every level in the game, which means... How do I... No? There we go. Jurassic Jungle. That's going to be the Mine Pyramid area. So... Oh, we're so close! We could potentially get this done in the next hour. And we never have to look at this game ever again. Except for me, as I contribute gifts and have to rewatch all of this and relive the nightmare so I can have gifts for an article going up on the site. But the rest of you don't have to see it. The rest of you can skip that article. You've been here. You know why this game sucks. You don't need to read a long-form explanation why. You can read it if you want to. It's going to be a fine article. I just feel like I've lived this game now at this point. And then all of you who have been along for the ride. Did you see the little rabbit wizard lady appear for like a second here, then disappear from the frame? She was standing right here. I know she was here the first time we approached this level at the beginning of the game. I think it was a bit of tutorializing. But, it looks like they loaded her in and then disposed of her just as quickly.
Ouch.
Interesting allocation. Testosterone says, I promise to at least read the first and last sentence of every paragraph. That's all I can ask for, honestly. I mean, fuck, I write 20,000 word articles about games no one cares about. I don't expect people to read through the whole thing. I've seen how long my paragraphs go on for. Alright, Professor Mouse.
Hooray! You did it! My contraption is working! Step right in and it will transport you somewhere really cool. At least, I think it will.
I'll take your word for it. This is a weird one. Usually these animations, these transitions have you like on like a boat or flying through the sky. This one has Spyro in his windshield animation in an orb. I guess because it's time travel. I think it's just a Jurassic period or whatever. But who knows? Maybe it's supposed to be like a Terminator thing. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like Terminator, teleporting, traveling. You know what I mean. You're picking up when I'm laying down.
Aha, Spyro! The R1000 and the TRX1000s have a
yeah, okay, Terminator, got it.
capable cages and are running amok through the jungle. Please stop them before they destroy the rest of the science labs and all of our research.
No problem. But say, what's a R1000 something something?
Oh, well, to put it in simplified terms that even a dragon can understand, they're mechanically enhanced nanotech proportion-oriented riptox, which we've been working on here in our labs. Quite the state-of-the-art, I might add. But
Oh, really? And how exactly would I go about destroying these things?
well,
A flame breath would probably work,
in
right?
the R1000 models when they were exposed to sub-zero temperatures.
Or ice breath.
Perhaps that information will come in useful.
No problem. I have just the right breath to chill them out.
Great! On the other hand, the T-Rex 1000s are quite vulnerable to electricity. Yet we've not been able to get close enough to them to zap them.
Okay,
with
so
an
electric breath.
charge.
We have options. Good to know. I mean, it seems to be Terminator stuff in a Jurassic Park type setting, maybe with the dinosaurs walking around. Maybe that's just me assuming. But yeah, either way. What am I doing there? I don't need to collect that shit. Yeah, simple. Didn't even need an explanation at the top of this explaining like how to take them out. Could have just assumed from the fact they're made of metal that electricity would work against them. But you know. Never hurts, I suppose. There is a treasure chest, which we will probably not bother returning to. Let's check this side for any sort of surprise. I think that's just scenery, not a door of any sort. Gotta check the sides over here. We're on the scout for dragonflies, ostensibly. Nope. Cool. That's alright. I didn't need that health anyway, I didn't need that life. Toss it, chuff it, who needs it? Is there a better way to do that? Probably. Probably jumping back on the platform. Rather than trying to do like the circumventing and like jumping backwards and floating around and whatnot. Could probably just get to it from here. But I don't trust those platforms. I don't trust the platforms with the, whatever you want to call it. I wonder if I could put that fire out with my ice breath. I'm sure it doesn't matter. I'm sure it won't contribute to anything. So we'll just leave it be. Cool animation there. Not a single Dragonfly this far. They're really spacing them out on this one. Maybe this will be an extra large level. God forbid.
Still fresh. 3 days. They're following us. Hey, Spyro, I've been studying this temple, and it's quite fascinating.
Oh yeah? How so?
Well, I believe that these strange drawings on the walls are a clue to something hidden away in this temple. But I can't quite decipher them yet.
Let's take a look.
Yes, and from what I have been able to decipher, it seems that the gems on the statues inside react to heat. Perhaps you can figure out the rest, Spyro.
No, I'm lost. Is this what we're talking about? That's really, that's a look. That is certainly, a decal. Oh, I see an extra long message in chat. How do I even exist? Spyro 2 and 3 had a concept called skill points, whereby interacting with certain environmental features, e.g. burning every cactus in the desert level in Spyro 2, you would get an extra life, and a little chime and notification that said skill point, and they'd be logged in your Atlas and journal after you'd complete the game. I'm sure that the fires here are not part of something like that, because that would have taken time and effort on the part of the developers. Beautiful thing. Alright, so are these the gems that respond to fire? I'm sure there's a very particular order I have to do them in. And I'm sure I'll find that out by looking at the wall decals there. First... Yellow and green are the only ones I saw over there, so... I'm sure this is going to be a very basic puzzle once I... Let's maybe go upwards and see if there's any more wall scrolls or what have you. I said, let me also... I did hear a switch activate. People asking, this game is really short, I think. We're almost done with it. The first two streams were 2 hours apiece, so that was 4 hours. We're at the 6-hour mark right now. So it should be done within 7 or 8. Get that Dragonfly. I see someone already posted a solution in chat to the puzzle. There we go. That's the number we've all been waiting for. Very nice. The weed number. 69 Dragonflies. Right. Okay, so according to GameFAQs, red, green, blue, purple, yellow. Yeah, I see how you would figure this out. It's based on the amount of boxes within the box there. Yep, so blue is third, purple's fourth, and yellow's gonna be the last one. Makes sense. We'll solve that in a second. Actually, this is probably gonna take us out of this room, so... Let's not. Let's do the damn thing. Then get whatever treasure. It better be a Dragonfly. It better not be actual, just treasure. That'll do it. You better stay stationary too. I do not want to chase you anywhere.
Hey, it's Scarlet.
That's Scarlett Johansson showing up everywhere, playing every role, taking roles away from young dragonflies.
Great job, Spyro! I see you solved the puzzle. I never realized dragons were so smart.
It was easy as 1-2 flame.
Okay, maybe not so smart, because that's not clever at all, Spyro. But, you know, you do you. What was the way up again? Right, ladder. I'm beginning to regret saying that we're going to go until this game is done at this point in this stream. But, it would not be worth it to do a stream, to do a 4th episode of this, when it might only be like 30 minutes long, at the rate we're going right now. Oh, come on, let me have that. Let me just climb back up. Don't make me do this. Go all the way back around because I dared to go take a not a shortcut, but I dared to go off the beaten path. That's the kind of design that gets under my skin with this. Where it just punishes you for exploration. Ouch. See anything to the sides over here that's worth going out of our way for? Nah.
Ouch.
At least we were able to recover from that one. Also doesn't look like we took damage, because Sparks is still yellow, which means maximum health, so... Weird, but okay. Nothing over here. Why did I even bother? Yeah, it seems to be like one of the larger stages, by which I mean they've spaced shit very far apart from each other. As for the actual scale of the level, that remains to be seen, but... I wanted to just try to fly all the way across, but I knew... Oh! Okay, so that's... awesome. What happened there was... I jumped to try and glide, but the platform, because it was doing a little animation where like it goes up and down, I jumped, the platform raised up under me, canceled out my glide and jump, and then sent me plummeting to my death. If you watch it back, I'm pretty sure that's how it happens. And I hope my explanation conveys that. Oh, meanwhile, down there I see a minigame. Do we maybe want to go down here? See what's up? Well, bear it in mind at the very least. Video Game King. Is scale correct the right word when your activities within the space still feel small? I.e. there is an apparent meaning to the size of the levels. Yeah, still technically, I would say. Got on a technicality, if anything. Because scale is just the size, not necessarily the scope. Because a game can be overly large, it can be large scale, but not have anything to do in that scale. And therefore the scope would be small. The intention would be limited. Was there something down there? I saw something out my peripheral vision. May have just been a plume of smoke. Alright, what do you have for us, you rat fink? You rat bastard.
Gosh darn it! Those blasted R1000s destroyed my lab and ran off with my equipment!
Hello?
That's a weird.
Oh.
I get it, like he's supposed to be like trapped in his own thoughts, but that wasn't like him monologuing to himself. That sounded like he could have been asking us a question. He could have been asking us, like, explain the situation to us. But Spyro gave a line read like, hello, I'm right here. You know what I mean? That's just awkward.
Great! Thanks, Spyro! Well, you see all those R1000s out there? They borrowed my equipment. All I need you to do is to get it back for me. Simple.
Oh, that's...
Why is love been capitalized? Shouldn't have skipped the dialogue. Maybe he said it with capital letters somehow in his line read.
Also, we therefore developed these devices that you can use too. Here, let me turn it on for you. There. Now all you have to do is pass through this gateway, and you will be able to walk onto the lava without being hurt.
No animation, no camera move.
Cool. Now it's time to go kick some Rip-Talk butt.
That's like Spyro's catchphrase. How many times have they said it's time to go kick some Rip-Talk butt over the course of this game? A non-insignificant number of times. Alright, these are the ones I have to freeze, clearly. Because they're like the T-1000. You get it? Terminator references in our dinosaur prehistoric level. We're mixing and matching elements here of different science fiction.
Ouch.
Bless the camera. Awesome turn radius. I was coming back to recharge the gate, but because we're gonna need it for when we go after that Dragonfly. There we go. Give me that bubble breath. Oh, there's like stuff we're supposed to be looking for? There's like science equipment?
Hey, it's Mitch.
I guess that's right. I guess they mentioned something about that. I thought we were just killing the T-1000s because I got little, like, one-brained on that, little one-minded on it, but yeah, this was part of the deal, is that we need to collect these flasks. I'm gonna cut out here with my pants down and get burned to death in just a second. But damn it, I don't want to do this. I want to get as much of it done as I can in one go, to minimize the time spent out here again in the future. Alright everyone, we're going to play Dora the Explorer. You're going to spot any flasks I miss. If you see me running past one, yell at me in chat. That being said, I think they'll probably be deeper in there, but I'm going to need to recharge before I go down that darkened hall. Give me that ice breath. How many more flasks do I even have to collect? Oh, there's a little gate here. That's nice of them. So I can make a return trip. Oh, but there's a minigame here too, so at least we know where both minigames in this area are. And there's the flask I was looking for. And we got them all. Alright. Here's what we're gonna do. We'll do this minigame first. The Spyro flies into that wall and the screen fades to black. And we'll make the return trip.
Welcome to the Tower of Scary and Ridiculous Heights. If you can
climb to the top of the tower, you will prove yourself worthy of the tower's secret treasure.
It's a
The
dragonfly.
tower exists in the middle of the jungle. Is a secret hidden away ages ago.
Always tell us about secret treasures and whatnot. Anyway, I think there was one of these in the farmland hillbilly level, but not the honey level, but the other one before that. And we didn't bother with that one. We didn't bother doing that one to completion because I didn't feel like it. And something tells me I'm not going to feel like doing this one either. I just want to get this over with. Alright, pretty standard stuff. You see me getting lazy with it, but something tells me we didn't lose too much time or health for that. I was wondering if those blow darts could even connect, and there's our answer. Now we've lost a significant portion of time. Now this might be in jeopardy. But, yep. Woo! That's a fun one. That's a neat trick. Let's try the left-hand side. Just for the fun of it, the novelty of it. Yeah, I somehow knew that was going to work. I could just go off to the side like that. Yeah, we can just avoid those blow darts. We'll be all the better for it. Tarantulas aren't much trouble either. Oh. Damn it. The problem is that once you get caught for a second, it's hard to reorient yourself and to fix what's going on. That said, no biggie, nothing to it. Video Game King saying, I think you keep the flasks you collect. I know that's not how it worked in any other challenge game the game has worked. That's the only way I can explain it. We kept the... I bet we have the flasks. I bet we don't need to do all that bullshit again with the lava.
Then how did you get up here?
Oh, that. Well, there's a hidden elevator that only I know how to find. But anyway, you'll have to keep it a secret. But there's not really any treasure up here. I never actually thought that anyone could get to the top.
What? So I did all that for nothing?
Well,
that's the theme of the game here.
Give you something.
That's the theme of the night.
But I found this dragonfly hiding in my secret elevator. Here, you can have it.
Hey, it's Warren.
Do you want to climb the tower again for funsies? You do know what fun is, don't you, Spyro? Yes, which is why I'm saying no. Alright, so we know where the other minigame gate is. We know there's a dragonfly waiting for us for turning in the flasks. We know we're so close to the end of this, to the end of all things. Why am I not holding down tab and fast forwarding that? Sorry. There we go with our lack of animation. Short-lived though. Yeah, the fact that I'm not seeing any flasks here indicates to me that we're in the clear. So let's cash in. Let's wrap, mister.
job, Spyro! You found them all! Here, I found this dragonfly under some broken equipment I found in my lab. You can have it!
Hey, it's Jason.
How do I even exist as? You do know what fun is. It is a terribly apt thing for the game to taunt us with. Whoops! Walked off the side of the platformer. Platform. I'm losing my mind. Anyway, it didn't matter because we had the charge thing. The thing with the stuff. You know what I mean. You know what words mean. Oh boy, more of this shit.
It's Spyro! That bad old thief over there stole something from me. Can you believe that? He stole a biomolecular hologram projector from me. And if you would kindly retrieve it, I will reward you graciously.
Will do. So far, none of these thieves have been particularly difficult to catch, so... In fact, we've kind of accidentally caught them in previous instances. Great animation, though. Well, I hope that counts, because he went through the wall. I don't know if that means that his prize is null and void, but couldn't collect anything.
You made it! Great!
Yep, we made it to... I guess this is where the level loops. But there's still work to be done. Alright, you're gonna be happy? Did we get the thing? Does that count? Oh, thank God.
Great job, Spyro! I knew you could do it. Here, take this. It's a dragonfly.
Hey, it's Bonky.
Everybody's favorite guy. How many dragonflies do we have from this area? I know there's a minigame, and I'm only going to the minigame for the sake of doing the minigame. I don't actually care. But yeah, we have more than enough. We've had more than enough since before we even went into this level. But what I'm going to do is hope that this loops back to the beginning of the level. Yep, sure enough, that's our teleport back to the Dragon homeworld. But if we keep going in this direction, maybe, just maybe. Huh. Oh, there we go. Because I knew that would be the thing that actually, like, completed the loop. But it wasn't opening immediately. It had me worried for a second. Anyway, if you remember, there was an area over here that overlooked, that stood above a, Oh, might as well get this dragonfly, right? As long as we're here. We're just gonna hold on to that one key, to that one level for the entire rest of the game.
Hey, it's Jean-Marc.
We didn't see him come out of the thing, and his voice line was delayed there, so I didn't know if we were gonna see it or not, if it was actually gonna happen or register, but luckily, for whatever it may be worth. Oops. I'm getting lazy at this point. Which is going to cost us more time than it's going to save us, so perhaps it is best if I stop being so lazy. Actually equip that. There we go. Wanted at least one health, at least one. At least be able to see sparks here. We have 20 minutes left before we hit the 3-hour mark. So hopefully we don't go too over long. Depending on how long this minigame we're about to get to takes. That will determine our fate and how over time we get, but... Let's see if I have a checkpoint if I fuck up again here. But I think we're in the clear.
Ouch!
No point going out that way. Why the fuck was that one, like, so resilient? Okay, so there is... I imagine this is going to spawn stuff for us to destroy. Or to charge with our laser. This isn't what I came down here to do. But we might as well do it as long as we're here. That minigame gate is where we want to come back to. This seems like a particularly easy one, though, so...
Ouch!
Who dis? Huh?
Hey, it's Karen.
Huh? Sorry, Red, I guess you're Karen now, and you have to do your animation twice, because Spyro is lazy as shit with his prompt, so... That was interesting. Anyway, minigame. Yeah, that's real sloppy, Joe.
My calculations indicate that this volcano is about to explode.
Good, I hope it kills everyone, and me included.
Don't worry about me. Save yourself. Slide down the volcano.
This song is interesting. No time limit again on this one. This seemed a lot more hazardous to our health, though. More opportunities to die here than previous ones, so... I don't know how this works for, like, Volcano About to Erupt music. I thought the vibe I get from it. This sounds more like a clown going on a killing rampage. Soundtrack to that. Bozo goes berserk. Ooh, I can tell I'm gonna hate this room. Alright, nothing to it but to do it. Yeah, that's what I thought would happen, huh? You almost made it, Spyro, until you died. Video Game King says, sounds like the soundtrack to the indie game you released on Dazura. Dazura takes me back. Dazura hasn't been a thing for like years, right? I remember having to download that client on account of, like, I used to buy every bundle that came out. Especially the trashy ones, like, especially the trashy ones. And so you'd get, like, some real garbage, and then you get, like, a couple interesting indies, but they would all be through Dazura because at a certain point these are games that were too jank for Steam. In a time before, like, Steam had completely opened the floodgates, I think. Anyway, yeah, if you want an interesting story, look up Dazura. I mean, I should write an article about Dazura and the whole thing that happened around that site and that service. Because it was like the prototype for itch.io, almost. Where itch.io is, like, filled the void that Dazura once occupied. And, you know, for all the problems with the itch.io launcher, at least you can still access it. Which is more than can be said for Dazura and all the games that you may have for that service that are now inaccessible completely. A lot of stuff surrounding that Dazura launcher that's interesting, and how the site went under, and I think how they had an interest in one of the bundle sites at a certain point. I can't remember, like Indie Gala, maybe, was the one that they... or Bundle Stars? There were so many bundle sites. Anyway, the story of that whole company going under is the fascinating one. Someone has to recount that. And usually these hapless, thankless tasks fall on me, so perhaps one day. I was worried I jumped too soon on that one. This does not sound like final guitar track. This sounds like it's like a demo for whatever this musical track was intended to be. With the way they sample those guitars in it. Luckily, we have peace for a moment. As we hopefully near the end of this.
You made it just in time, Spyro. Here, I found a dragonfly on my way down.
There wasn't really any urgency to that. There wasn't any, like, lava flowing behind us. If there was, it'd be catching up to us right about now, wouldn't it?
It seems as if the volcano has stabilized.
Oh,
Try
great.
sliding down it again.
No! Come back anytime to this active volcano that we purported to be a big risk to you. But turns out it's stabilized, so... Anyway, as soon as we're back in the map here, with our 77 dragonflies, let's go back to the Dragon Realms. Oh, I messed up the button prompts again. GameCube button placement. B where X is supposed to be, so on and so forth. Or B where cross is supposed to... DualShock 4 controller. I'm playing a GameCube game with a DualShock 4 controller, but I have the buttons arranged in GameCube fashion, so... I psych myself out a bunch of times trying to navigate menus and stuff. Alright. Now that portal over there is how we're meant to get to the final boss. And yep, sure enough, I see it sparkling. So we should be able to just jump on in. I realize I haven't demonstrated this little trick though, so let's go in the fun way. See, that's what we could have done from the very beginning of the game. We could have done that at any moment in time. And just skipped directly to the final boss fight here. That's how the speedrun for this game is under 2 minutes. Is that very simple trick there. Just knowing the right spot where you can ground pound and go through the floor and wind up here.
Oh, if there's anything I hate more than a dragon, it's a purple dragon. You've caused me enough problems, Spyro. This time I'll take care of you permanently.
So to be clear, this is only the third time we're seeing this dude over the course of the game.
Hocus pocus.
He's barely been a presence here. Anyway, I know you can beat him with just the fire breath as is part of the speedrun strategy, but let's figure out what we're supposed to do here. Alright, so Wing Shield not effective at blocking this stuff. Bubble Breath not so much either. Flame Breath maybe does something. Not enough. Not consistently anyway. Huh. Oh, at least there's health things we can get. What even hit me there? Some of these, I swear, aren't animating. What bad telegraphing, like... No clue, no idea if we're making progress or not. We're hearing that glass break sound effect, that stock sound effect, but... And how lame is that the final boss just seems to require flame breath and nothing else. At least so far. No, well, tried to recover some health, but will it start the entire fight over again? Nope. We're basically given room to mess up and still have him be weakened. Those are homing, I'm realizing now. Well, I just realized, though, that him not recharging also means that we're not getting any more of the health pickups. So we just gotta rely on our 10 lives. How did I not connect with that? And how am I not intercepting his magic with my breath? That, I saw the collision there. I saw the fire touch on the bubbles there, and nothing happened. I'll try it a little soon. How are you supposed to dodge these if they're homing? And the flame breath doesn't work on them. I know. Why do I keep trying? I'm just hoping like it works like a video game for a change.
Defeated again. I'll be back, and you'll be sorry.
Is that fucking it?
You'll be very, very sorry. The magic of dragons can't last forever, can it?
No, it can't last forever after this game. Tell you what. Oh, boy. Yeah, that'll do it, folks. That is the ending to this game. That was, So I knew of the speedrun strat. I want to be clear here, this is a genuine reaction because I watched a speedrun to figure out how to get inside the thing, but I never watched the actual boss fight. I wanted that to be a surprise to me. I saw the time code and I saw the way to get under the floor, but this is my first time actually seeing the ending, how abrupt it is. That is fucking choice. Alright, so looking at the credits here, Check 6 is the GameCube port team. So PS2 was Target Platform. Equinox 6 were developers. Check 6, or Equinox 6, or Equinox, whatever. And Check 6 were the conversion team. Is that what I'm to read from this? Sparks is not looking so good on the screen, by the way, it must be said. Oh, they're mentioning the PS2 graphics. They're actually using the word PS2 on a GameCube game. I'm sure there's some precedent for that, but I generally think that's not intended for developers. I think that your credits are supposed to omit the names of other consoles and stuff. Video Game King says, there's Jean-Marc. Still haven't seen Krishnamurti, or I didn't mean to like butcher that as bad as I did. Krishnamurti, or Tashi Station, yeah. So some of these, oh yeah, Goku and Chi-Chi I think were also, wait, hold on. The fact that it's Goku and Chi-Chi, wait a minute. I was gonna say I thought there was a Dragonfly named Goku, but seeing Goku next to Chi-Chi, that's a Dragon Ball reference. They're special thanking fucking Dragon Ball Z kid. That was Spyro into the Dragonfly. It's been an adventure. I'm glad it's over. We got it in 3. It was an extra long 3rd episode, but we got it. By God. What a piece of shit! Wow, just nothing about that was compelling or interesting or mechanically sound in any way. Woof. Yeah, I get why there's a guest article being written about it. I guess I get why this had to happen. Well earned. I'm putting an article up for this game, but oh, Billy West was in this too. Should have just guessed as much, but. Oh, my favorite voice actors here. The European product manager is my favorite character in the game, and Lauren Caffrey provided my favorite voice in the game. This is where a less good streamer would make jokes about the QA team not doing their jobs. So don't blame you can't blame the QA team for this. You can't blame Absolute Quality for this. You can't blame the tester. You can't blame Tom Harrott, Dave Freeman, Ronald James, so on and so forth for this. You can have all the QA in the world, but it's up to the developers to implement it. And you can have all the developers in the world and all the feedback and all the want to implement that in the world, but if you don't have time to implement it, then you can't fucking implement it. You know, we shit on this game, and rightfully so. This was a very bad game, but it was also a victim of circumstance. It was a victim of forward never straight? Anyway, wow, the credits ended abruptly. I didn't press anything. I don't even have the controller in my hand right now. The game just kind of decided to end those credits there. That credits ended as abruptly as the game itself did. Is he going to kick us back to the main menu, or is he going to put us back in the overworld so we can finish our 100% if we want to? Nope, yeah, that's it. I want to see now, is there a 100% ending that we missed out on? That's what I'm looking for. So I'm looking up quickly. YouTube video. Seeing if there's any additional scene. Appears there might be. Oh yeah, there certainly is. Yeah, there's a whole other form to the boss, actually. Yep, so, yeah, that's super abrupt, and they obviously expect us to do more along the lines of collecting, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to 100% this. Instead, we will watch someone else do it for us. Let's think. Scintillant Mirage.
Wait a minute, I said that last time. I wouldn't want to sound like a video game cliche. Let me try that again. This time, I will take care of you once and for all.
Oh, they're getting silly with it. I see.
Hocus pocus.
Alright, skip ahead. He transforms at some point. This is the PS2 version with some widescreen hacks, so... Yeah, this is certainly a boss fight. It certainly goes on a little longer. Alright, let's see this 100% ending now, in all its glory. See, this is the good stuff. This is the real reward for putting in the real effort that we did not put in.
No, not again. My plans were so perfect. Twice I put my faith in this staff, and twice it has failed me. Dragons, dragonflies. I can't win. I can't win.
Well, that's what you get for playing with your little sticks. Silly Ripto. Don't you know magic and dinosaurs don't mix?
This is very desynced. Scintillant Mirage.
And you'll be sorry.
But, good enough is.
Yeah, I bet.
We get the idea from watching this. We'll even have another party here. It's kind of lame that this is all hidden behind 100% completion.
Fairy tales go anyway, pal.
That the regular kid would just get that really bland, abrupt ending.
And let Ripto ruin this day for the baby dragons.
I imagine this is how most kids never saw this shit.
Well, everything is finally back to normal. Isn't it, Spyro?
So yeah, that's definitely a better ending. And you can even see Sparks' eyeballs in this one. You can actually see his pupils here. So that's another improvement the PS2 version apparently has. But, what a weird screen where the background still animates, and there's this particle effect still, but everything else is still. What a lame screen. What a lame game. Yeah, that's, that about does it. We're not 100% in this game. That's all you need to see. That's 100% ending for you. It's marginally better. But again, how many kids actually ended up seeing that? Not a whole lot, I reckon. That'll do it for Spyro Enter the Dragonfly. It's been a trip. I don't even have anything to say after that. I said everything I wanted to say during the credits roll. Except, glad for those of you who stuck through this. Again, we will come back with way more interesting games in the near future. Things, I think someone suggested I should play something that I actually want to play for next time. So, you can maybe expect that coming soon. Y'all have to endure something good for a change. I don't know how interesting that'll be. Watch me not suffer, watch me actually enjoy myself, but we'll play it by ear. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for staying extra long, those of you who did. Thanks for staying well into the 3rd hour. And, consider this Dragonfly exited. That's a good one, right? Let me try that again. Consider this Dragonfly exited. No, it doesn't work anymore. Shit, I blew it. I missed my shot. I missed my spot. Bye!